Hello, this is News Live on Viewer Television. I am John Matake. The headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari orders a criminal investigation into an approximately 6 trillion naira given to Niger Delta Development Commission since 2001. Bandits returned 5 among the 73 kidnapped students of Government Day Secondary School in Zamfara State. Plus, New York State Governor declares her first state of emergency on remnants of Hurricane Ida that hits the region. Now on the news. The presidency has condemned Amnesty International letters salvo at Nigerians, regretting that they have decided to side with terrorists before the liberty of those they injure, displace, and murder. The senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, made the government's position known in a statement in Abuja. The presidency was reacting to Amnesty International's recent claim that the Nigerian government is harassing its critics and other militias. The presidential aide, however, dismissed the allegation, saying government will continue to fight terrorism with all the means it has at disposal, no matter the criticism it faces for doing so. The presidential aide also accused Amnesty International of playing local politics in Nigeria. According to him, Amnesty International has no legal right to exist in Nigeria, saying it must open a formal investigation into the personnel that occupies their Nigerian offices. Still, President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered a criminal investigation into an approximated 6 trillion naira given to Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) since 2001. Recall that the presidency had ordered for the holistic forensic audit of activities of the commission from the inception to August 2019 in response to the yearnings of the people of Niger Delta region to reposition it for effective service delivery. I beg your pardon. Buhari gave this order Thursday in Abuja after receiving the final forensic audit report from the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio. According to the president, the forensic audit report will be forwarded to the Federal Ministry of Justice for a legal review, and relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government will be engaged in doing justice to the findings accordingly. Buhari disclosed that it is on record that between 2001 and 2019, the federal government had approved 3 trillion naira, 175 billion 666,694.99 kobo naira as budgetary, and 2 trillion 420 billion 940 million and 894,191 naira as income from statutory and non-statutory sources, which brings the total sum to 6 trillion naira given to the Niger Delta Development Commission. According to him, the report on the forensic audit of the NDDC and recommendation will be critically analyzed for necessary action and implementation. Earlier in his remarks, Akpabio disclosed that the name and identity of a vast number of beneficiaries' companies were also captured as well. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved a contract worth 806.6 billion naira for projects in works and housing as well as aviation ministries. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola, the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, and humanitarian affairs, disaster management, and social development minister Sadia Umar announced the award of the contracts on Wednesday while addressing State House correspondents after the week's virtual Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. Fashola said the contract for the dualization of the Odukpani-Itu-Akot-Ekpene road was approved at the cost of 79.649 billion naira. The minister said that the affected part of the road is the section from Oku-Iboku power plant to Abak, which is about 26 kilometers long. When he asked to give an update on the 2020 contract award for the same project, Fashola said that there had been PAUSIC fund to implement the project. The minister called for the setting up of the contingency maintenance fund, which he said should have a sizable amount. Now, the Minister for State for Health, Olarunbi Momora, has identified lack of funds as being responsible for the numerous challenges facing the health sector in Nigeria. The minister disclosed this on Thursday in Abuja during a meetings of states commissioners of health and federal ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as developing partners. Mamora also appealed to striking resident doctors to return to work while adding that in the civil service there is no such as a quick fix. Still, the Minister of Information Culture, Lai Mohammed, says Nigeria will host the UN World Tourism Organization Regional Conference in 2022. The minister disclosed this in Sal Island, Cape Verde, after a meeting with the Secretary General of the UNWTO, Zorab Poloskelivili. UNWTO, founded on November 1st, 1975, is the UN specialized agency entrusted with the promotion of responsible, sustainable, and universally accessible tourism. Mohammed is in Sal Island with other African cultural tourism ministers to attend the 64th Conference of the UNWTO Commission for Africa and the second edition of the UNWTO Global Tourism Investment Forum. Speaking after the meeting, Poloskevili, the minister, said the regional conference to be hosted in Nigeria will focus on tourism and creative industry. He said the tourism and creative industry team was chosen because of the comparative advantage and strong points of Nigeria in the areas of film, music, fashion, and creative industry. The 64th edition of the ongoing UNWTO Commission for Africa conference was held in Nigeria in 2018. Enugu Assembly on Thursday passed the Prohibition of Open Grazing and Regulation of Cattle Ranching Bill into law. It came just 2 days after the Assembly held a public hearing on the bill. The passage of the bill followed consideration of the report of the public hearing presented by Chairman of the Joint Committee, Amaka Ugweze, Ima Ogorana, and Oko Chinedu, co-chairman of the committee. The bill, which was sponsored by Assembly Leader Ikechukwu Uzogwe, is expected to forestall farmers' hideous clashes as well as stop killing and raping of women by hitmen. Speaker Edward Ubosi, speaking after the passage of the bill, thanked the sponsors, noting that the people of the state have been clamoring for the law for a long time. He expressed optimism that the governor, Ifeanyi Ogwani, will not waste time in ascertaining the law. Obosi insisted that the law was not against anybody or group, that for the good of the people of the state and other people that live in the state. Now we're now going to break. Our news live will return. The Kogi State government threatens the legal action against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Details of this and more comes to you after the break.
advertise your products and services on our platform, Viewer Television is here to give your business a boost with a touch of professionalism. If you're a brand owner, entrepreneur, proud business owner, let's place your business in the face of your customers. Contact us so we can talk business on 081 2121 2278 or info@viewertv.com.ng. Always remember, we are here for you.
For over 2 years now, thousands of Nigerians and citizens of the world have tuned to Viewer Television for accurate and reliable reporting that has made the NEWSLIVE one of the most trusted news programs on television. NEWSLIVE is Viewer Television primetime news. We link to the best sources from around the world, source for news stories, deliver on the hour, and we provide in-depth news. My day in the newsroom is a little bit taxing, from sourcing for stories, getting reports from reporters, packaging reports, linking with correspondents, casting the news, creating interviews on subject matters. It's a whole lot, but as a journalist, I ensure timely delivery. My name is Joy Malik. I'm a news anchor and news producer here on Viewer Television.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is NEWSLIVE on Viewer Television. Now, the recap of our top stories. President Muhammadu Buhari orders a criminal investigation into an approximated 6 trillion naira given to the Niger Delta Development Commission since 2001. Bandits returned 5 among the 73 kidnapped students of Government Day Secondary School in Zamfara State. Plus, New York State Governor declares her first date of emergency as remnants of Hurricane Ida hits the region. Now, leaders at the national and state level have been reminded of their constitutional responsibility to provide enough security for their citizens. The chairman, Taken Equa Reverend Mika Dapa, made the statement while speaking to our reporter on the security measures on Taraba State at 30, the report.
The clergy stated that it is the fundamental right of the citizens of the country to enjoy uninterrupted peace, but wonders why the situation is the opposite. He said as religious leaders, they have the cardinal role on enlightening and sensitizing the populace on the need to coexist with one another wherever they found themselves. Mika narrates that the state of insecurity in the country is alarming, calling on the security agencies to live up to their responsibility of safeguarding the populace.
Recently, from 23rd to 26th of this very month, we embark on sensitization of pastors in the central and southern zone of Taraba State, calling for the need to be in peace. We should not allow what is happening around us in other states, especially with the recent happening in just Plateau State. We don't need to allow ourselves to distract the peace of Taraba State, because peace is cardinal. We cannot do without peace in Taraba State. So we have been preaching peace, and we are calling for peace here and there to make sure that we make Taraba State the state of our dream.
He urges the people of the state to be vigilant in accepting influx of people trooping the state, saying it is the responsibility of every individual to be security alert as present days are evil. Dopa congratulates the government and the entire people of the state, maintaining that there are great achievements recorded as a state since creation, adding that the development strides of the present government are visible.
As an individuals, we all have our parameter of measuring development, but so far so good as far as Taraba State is concerned. I'm sure that we are up to date in terms of development, because if we look at yesterday and we look at today, we will definitely discover that there is a great improvement in the developmental strive of our dear state by the special grace of God.
On the challenges the state is facing, the clergy explains that for every success story, there are also challenges, and that Taraba is not an exception in the area. He enumerates delay in payment of local government salaries and non-prompt payment of pension and gratuities, which the state government has set up a committee to cross-check a way forward. Linda Guana, Viewer TV News, Jalingo.
Now, still from Taraba, the former chairman of Taraba State Universal Basic Education Board, Hilkia Buba, asserts the educational sector in Taraba State, if given top priority, will generate best leaders in the country. Hilkia Buba was speaking in an interview at the backdrop of Taraba at 30 in Jalingo, the state capital. The reports.
The former chairman congratulates the government and the people of the state for attaining 30 years of creation, maintaining that any child that attains the age of 30 is already an adult. He saluted the past and present governors for the development recorded, adding that it is commendable but has not commiserated the level of the resources the state is blessed with.
We are not where we are supposed to be, but at least we have covered some mileage. Like some people will easily say, we have made progress, but the pace of the progress is not commensurate to the resources that are available to us in terms of human and material resources. But like I repeatedly said, we have made progress. We are not where we were at the time of the creation of the state in all its ramifications.
Hilkia Buba, who was a lecturer at the College of Education, explained that all the state needs to improve in the educational sector is employment of qualitative teachers with good incentive, not minding their religious or tribal affiliations. He stated that God has endowed the state with tremendous resources that is yet to be discovered, and wished that if road network will get to the remotest areas of the state is capable of feeding the nation at large. Buba stressed that there is no farm produce sown in the soil of the state that cannot produce, and encourage the government to have a way of connecting to her populace in the nook and crannies of the state. On women and youth participation in politics, Hilkia encourages women and youth to come out and take responsibility of mobilizing and sensitizing themselves on their political will. He said all they need to do is engage themselves in politics, be focused, and negotiate for positions meant for them, lamenting that it is disheartening where other people are given the roles of youth leaders and men the roles of women leaders.
We should focus on some key sectors of the economy. One of the areas in which I think we can deploy more resources and energy is in the area of infrastructure. We should develop and deploy more resources in the way we develop our infrastructure. Roads, especially township roads, roads that will link the state headquarters with the various local governments, roads that will link the various local government headquarters with townships and villages. By the time you do that, then other variables in economic development will naturally fall into place.
advising that to be fair to the women and youths, farms should be sold at subsidized rates for them so as to measure up with their male counterpart, stressing that appointments should also be given due consideration. He called on the government to always lend ears to the populace to know their problems with the view to resolving them, while he encourages the masses to never relent in their struggle for a better life. Linda Guana, Viewer TV News, Jalingo.
Now, bandits have returned amongst the 73 kidnapped students of Government Day Secondary School, Kaya, in Maradu, local government area of Zamfara State. The police confirmed that the students were kidnapped on Wednesday. A former councillor of Kaya Ward, Yahaya Kaya, confirmed the release of the 5 students on Thursday. Kaya said his daughter Amina was among the students released by the bandits. According to him, the 5 students were taken back to their homes, Kaya, Thursday. He maintained that they were all in good health. The Kogi State government on Thursday threatened legal action against the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission over a recent order court that froze 20 billion naira in its bank account. Commissioner for Information Kingsley Fanwo stated this at a press briefing on the matter. Fanwo accused the EFCC of having been misled the court through presentation of alleged false documents to obtain the court order. The Lagos Division of the Federal High Court on Tuesday ordered the freezing of the Kogi State Salary Bailout account domiciled in the New Generation Bank over an alleged 20 billion naira loan obtained from the bank. Presiding Judge Tijani Ringim said the order would subside pending the conclusion of investigation or possible prosecution by the EFCC. The court had based its ruling on an ex parte application by the EFCC brought pursuant to Section 44, subsection 2 of the Constitutions and Section 34 of the Economic and Financial Crime Commission Act, and under the court's jurisdiction. The EFCC had its affidavits before the court alleged that the 20 billion naira loan meant to augment the salary payment and running costs of Kogi State was kept in an interest-yielding account with the bank. Counsel to the EFCC, A.O. Mohammed, had told the court that instead of using the money for the purpose it was meant for, the bank, while acting on the instruction of the Kogi State government, transferred the money from the loan account into a fixed deposit account. Now, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission says it has begun Phase 3 tracking of over 118 executive and constituency projects worth about 4.5 billion in Yobe. Laban Emmanuel, ICPC team leader in the state, disclosed this in an interview in Damatru on Thursday. He said the tracking started August 31st and will be concluded on September 12th. Emmanuel noted that projects to be monitored were scattered across 11 local government areas of Fika, Putiskum, Gashua, Jakusku, Nguru, Fune, Yunusari, Yunusufari, Gujba, Busari, Karonsua. He said the team of trackers comprised of ICPC officials, quantity surveyor, journalists, and civil society organizations. Emmanuel said the same exercise was going on in Katsina, Kano, Sokoto, Adamawa, Plateau, Kogi, Benue, Ondo, Osun, Lagos, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom, Enugu, Edo, Anambra, Imo State, as well as the Federal Capital Territory. According to the reports, the ICPC, in a recent statement by spokesperson Azuka Ogugwa, said that the exercise focused on how well money allocated to critical sectors of education, health, agriculture, water resources, power, among other sectors, were utilized. Now, the Defense Headquarters says troops of Operation Hadarindaji arrested no fewer than 81 bandits, their collaborators, and other criminal elements in the last 3 weeks across the Northwest Zone. According to the Director of Defense Media Operations, Brigadier General Bernard Onyeku made the disclosure while giving an update on the operations of the armed forces across the country on Thursday in Abuja. Onyeku also said there are no fewer than 333 kidnapped victims were rescued and 15 bandits killed by the troops during the period. He added that 2 armed robbers were neutralized and 13 bandits informants arrested. According to him, the troops sustained operations against the bandits, kidnappers, and other criminal elements in the geopolitical zone with attendant successes. Onyeku said that the operations were conducted in various locations in Zamfara, Katsina, Sokoto states, and in the north central. He said the troops of Operation Safe Haven arrested 20 persons involved in killing of 26 travelers in Rokuba town in Jos North local government area of Plateau on August 14. He said the suspect had been handed over to the prosecuting agency for necessary action. In Benue, Onyeku said troops of Operation Wild Stroke destroyed 3 criminal camps, recovered 23 rustled cows, and 3 motorcycles at Ude and Ugedu towns. He said that the troops on August 14 arrested 9 cultists who have been terrorizing Otokun community in Ado local government area of the state. He added that same troops acting on credible intelligence ambushed and arrested some railroad vandals and recover railroad tracks and sleepers at Seguma village on August 15. He said the criminals had been handed over to the appropriate agencies for further action. Now on business news, commercial loans obtained by Nigeria through Eurobank rose from $1.50 billion as of December 31st, 2015 to $10.87 billion as of December 31st, 2020, indicating that $9.37 billion or 625% increase in 5 years. The debt stock remained at $1.5 billion from 2015 to 2016, but rose to $6 billion by 2017, indicating that $4.5 billion or 300% rise within a year. It further rose to $10.87 billion in 2018, signifying an increase by $4.87 billion or 81%. It remains at the figure till the end of 2020. However, the federal government still intends to seek more funding through Eurobonds, which will increase Nigerians' Eurobonds debt stock. The federal government had appointed transaction advisors to facilitate the issuance of the Eurobonds in the international capital market, according to a statement issued by the Debt Management Office. It added that the funds raised will be used to finance direct projects in the budget while boosting foreign exchange inflow, increasing Nigeria's external reserves, and support the Naira exchange rate. Also, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, during a press briefing in Abuja on Monday, said that the government plans to raise about 3 billion euros through Eurobond to fund budget deficits. She further stated that the government was borrowing responsibly by borrowing to invest in infrastructure that will later yield revenue. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has denied the allegation that it failed to remit 80% of its operational surpluses into the consolidated revenue in the last 5 years. Dr. Kingsley Obiora, CBN Deputy Governor in charge of economic policy, said this at the Senate public hearing on 2020-2024 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, in Abuja. Obiora was reacting to an allegation by Senator Solomon Adiola, APC Lagos, that the CBN had not remitted its operational surplus for 5 years. He said 80% of the Apex Bank operational surpluses had always been remitted to the CRF on a yearly basis. Obiora explained that the remittance was done with the provisions of the Fiscal Responsibility Act, FRA, and not that of the CBN Act, which stipulated 75% remittance. Responding, Adiola urged the CBN to produce documentary evidence to prove its remittance to the committee on September 3rd. He also urged the Apex Bank to produce the audited account for last 5 years. Now, the National Insurance Commission has issued a directive to transit from manual to online processing all operational activities, including submission and processing of requests from insurance companies. According to a circular titled Adjustment of NICOM Operations, signed by Director Policy and Regulation, L. Aka, The operation of the commission will give life with effects from Wednesday to enhance efficient and effective service delivery. Part of the statement reads NICOM operations will transit from manual to online processing, and all operational activities or issues concerning insurance institutions that require the Commission's attention, comments, and approval will be submitted and processed via the NICOM licensing system. Constituency, all insurance institutions are required to align their operations to NICOM portal for submission and processing of all requests, such as certificate of registration, renewal, approval, and principal, product authorization, micro insurance, and TACA full insurance letter of request, financial statement approval, enforcement action, government and complaint, etc. The statement added that there will be no manual submission of request applications effective from Wednesday except online through the designated portal. Now on the international desk, New York State Governor Kathy Hochul has declared her first state of emergency as remnants Hurricane Ida hit the region on Thursday. New York City, its surrounding areas were hit by the heavy thunderstorm and flooding as Hurricane Ida was sweeping the northeast part of the United States. Multiple buildings and subway stations were flooded as New York City reported that 3 inches of the rain within 1 hour. The National Weather Service issued its first ever flash flood emergency alert for New York City, warning more than 9 million residents imminence of danger. Earlier, New York State Governor Kathy Hochul urged people to prepare for flooding conditions and practice caution in travel while directing various departments to get prepared. Now, still on the foreign scene, Afghan Taliban rulers were preparing to unveil their new government on Thursday as the economy was at the brink of collapse, more than 2 weeks after the capture of Kabul by the Islamic militia and the chaotic end of the 20 years of war. Taliban officials Alhamdulillah Mataki said a ceremony was being prepared at the presidential palace in Kabul. The legitimacy of the new government in the eyes of international donors and investors will be crucial for the economy as the country battles droughts, the ravages of conflicts that took the lives of estimated about 240,000 Afghans. The Taliban have promised to allow safe passage out of the country for any foreigner or Afghan left behind by massive airlift, which ended with the withdrawal of the last U.S. troops on Monday. However, Kabul airport still closed. Many were seeking to flee overland on neighboring countries. British Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab said there will be a talk with the regional countries about how to secure safe passengers through third countries for people who want to leave Afghanistan. The Taliban Supreme Leader Habatullah Akhundzada is expected to have ultimate power over new governing council with presidential below him. The U.S. Supreme Court has refused to block a new law in Texas that bans abortion for most women. The so-called Heartbeat Act banned termination after the detention of what anti-abortion campaigners called a futile heartbeat, a point when many women do not know why they are pregnant. The law came into effect on Wednesday. Rights groups then asked for an injunction to prevent its enforcement. In a late-night vote, Justice ruled 5-4 against the granting the injunction. In an unsigned explanation, the court majority said their decision was not based on any conclusion about the constitutionality of Texas law and said legal challenges could still proceed. Earlier on Wednesday, President Joe Biden condemned the law, calling it extreme and warning it would significantly impair women's access to health care. In a statement, President Biden said that the administration will not protect and defend the constitutional rights and establish under Roe v. Wade and upheld a precedent for nearly half a century. Rights groups, including Planned Parenthood and the American Civil Liberties Union, who had requested that the Supreme Court block the legislation they say they will not give up the fight. You are still watching a News Live on Viewer Television. Now, we bring to you sport news right after the break. Do stay tuned.
Thank you for joining us. Now, the Nigerian Football Federation has signed a 4-year partnership deal with the country's biggest airline, Air Peace, to become the exclusive airline sponsor for the country's national team. The deal is worth 300 million naira annually and renewable every year for the next 4 years. Signing the agreement in the Lagos, Chairman Air Peace Allen Oyema explained that the decision to sign the contract despite the current economic crunch in the aviation sector was hinged on the airline's desire to be part of the success stories of the Super Eagles. NFF President Amaju Pinnick, who was in company with Super Eagles star Alex Iwobi, Tyron Ebuhi, Egenekaro Etebo, and Joe Eribo, said the Air Peace partnership, the Federation had become 75% self-funded, stressing that the desire of the football body was to become 100% self-funded. And also, Ukeria Eazi on Thursday increased Team Nigeria's medal haul at the ongoing 2020 Paralympic Games in Tokyo by winning a bronze medal in the women's seated shot put event. In the final of the event, F57 class of the Olympic Stadium, Eazi had a season-best throw of 10.40 meters to finish third and claim the bronze medal. Algeria's Safia Jalal, who is the world and Paralympic record holder in the F56 class of the event, created a new world record in the F57 with 11.29 meters to win the gold medal. China's Yu Milan had 10.81 meters to finish second to win silver medal. Eazi's victory took Nigeria's medal tally at the Games to 3 gold, 1 silver, and 4 bronze medals. The 2020 Paralympics will end on Sunday. And lastly, Cristiano Ronaldo has broken and set the world record for the goals scored in men's international football as he hit his 110th and 111 goals for Portugal in their dramatic 2-1 World Cup qualifier over the Republic of Ireland. The 36-year-old scored 2 late headers to break and extend the record after he had a penalty saved by Govan Bazanu. The Manchester United forward has also equaled Sergio Ramos' European record for men's caps with his 180th Portugal appearance. In an interview with Ronaldo, he expressed how happy he was for achieving the milestone, and he also appreciated the rest of the Portugal players for believing in themselves and holding on till the end of the game. Ronaldo has scored 17 times between minutes 16 to 30 minutes and 16 times between 31 to 45 minutes, with 11 in the opening 15 minutes of the first half and 12 in the opening 15 minutes of second half. Some 91 of his goals have been inside the box with 20 from outside. He has scored 14 penalties and 9 free kicks. And that's all we can take on sports. Over to the main news desk. Thank you for watching.
And that's all on News Live. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. President Muhammadu Buhari orders a criminal investigations into an approximately 6 trillion naira given to the Niger Delta Development Commission since 2001. Bandits returned 5 among the 73 kidnapped students of the Government Day Secondary School in Zamfara State. Plus, New York State Governor declares her first state of emergency as remnants of Hurricane Ida hits the region. Now, thanks for watching and have a wonderful day ahead.